Thank you, Kit. So as most of you know, but a few of you are about to be startled to find out, I'm Rob Peck. I'll be your host this morning. And I'm very happy to see you here because, frankly, the place would be very lonely without you. And it's always a chance to kind of, in the middle of all the hustle and bustle, to take time to come into this peaceful sanctuary, to listen to this restorative music, and to reconnect. And in the spirit of both welcoming and reconnecting, if there are some of you who are here for the first time, we're so grateful you're with us. And if you'd be willing to just stand and let us know who you are and say your name, that would be lovely.
We're all old timers. Not all of us, we're getting older.
Great. Well, welcome back. Where have you been? So then, since you all already have some ties to this special place, would you all just greet in each of the four directions the people who are around you?
Hello, Fuzzy Pig. Hello.
We also want to welcome the folks on Zoom. Matt, are there some people on Zoom that we can welcome to join us this morning?
Yes, this morning we have Cassie Walker, Joan Pillsbury, Lulu, Maria, Molly Chambers, Trudy Ralph, all joining us this morning on Zoom.
Welcome. We are proud to be a welcoming congregation, and we want to be a welcoming congregation with warmth, with real friendliness, and I hope throughout the service that'll be something that you experience. If you'd like any additional information about the church, there are some pamphlets in the back. Any of us who are serving in leadership, can we raise our hands so if people want to complain, they know who to come to? Or commend. I'm happy to be spoken to be commended. Okay, so I'm pretty sure you're all already familiar with this. It's called breathing. But I want to try to see if we can take a moment to make breathing something that isn't just something we do and take for granted, but something that we're able to do mindfully, and in a way that we're able to make each breath an invitation to become more fully present, more deeply connected, and to just really feel like we've arrived, like we're here. So I'm going to invite you to just let these words be a little bit of a guide to whatever degree you want. But I'm going to say, as we breathe in, that breathing in, I relax my thoughts. And breathing out, I release all tension. So would you try that with me? Breathing in, I relax my thoughts. Breathing out, I release all tension. Breathing in, my brain is calm. Breathing out, my body is centered. Breathing in together, we're glad to be here. Breathing out, we are grounded. Breathing in, we experience grace. Breathing out, we feel grateful. Let that be an invitation, almost a kind of passport to the prelude, to take us to a place of even deeper peace and groundedness. Bless you, kid. So you'll see in your order of worship our chalice lighting. It's a little lengthy, and I'd like to also do something slightly different with this. Before I invite someone to come up and light the chalice, I'd like you to just take a moment to read it and see which parts of it really speak to you. So there's a tiny story behind this particular chalice lighting. Back in the Paleolithic period, when I was a young man, I was first introduced to a singer named David Roth, and he sang a song called "May the Light of Love Be Shining Deep Within You." And it was a time where there was nothing shining in me. I was profoundly depressed. And somehow, in the midst of that dismal darkness, some little part about the torch of mercy got through just a tiny glimmer of hope and sparked what thankfully has been a pretty sustained recovery. And so if it means even half as much to you as it means to me, it'll be a pretty sweet chalice lighting. May the light of love be shining deep within our spirits. May the torch of mercy clear the path and show the way. With all the forces that come between and threaten to divide us, may we never take for granted all the gifts we still receive, being ever mindful of the unseen hands that guide us and the miracles that cause us to believe. So we'll now do hymn number 168, One More Step, with music and lyrics by Joyce Poley and led by our ace pianist and musician, Kit Johnson. Let's stand. As you are able. Great to hear so many of you singing. Would you please join me in our congregational covenant, a somewhat abridged version, but still contains all of the essence of why we want to join and be part of something larger than ourselves. I'll say the beginning, and then please read all the bulleted points with me in unison. In this house, in this sacred sanctuary, we covenant with one another to create a community built on a foundation of love, to work together to promote equality, justice, and peace, accepting responsibility for our individual acts, to stand on the side of love, embracing the liberation of the oppressed, and working to end discrimination and unjust privilege, to communicate with kindness and support, and to serve with compassion and commitment, to learn and grow together, generously sharing our time, our talents, and our treasures. You are generously sharing your time by being here with us this morning. And I'm quite confident that there will also be ways in which we might even experience some of your talents. But right now, we would be really grateful for some of your treasures. So if you would please be willing to make as generous an offering as possible and to inspire even greater giving, Kit, would you play a little music to motivate? Thank you, Kit, and thank you, all of you. So I got here this morning before most of you, thinking that I just had to kind of get myself ready to be the host to invite our guest speaker, Nate Woodward. I soon learned that Nate Woodward was not going to be able to attend. What can I tell you? Shift happens. And initially I thought, oh no, and then thankfully there was another voice that said, oh yes. Nate's topic is what is justice, and if I know anything about justice, it's that you can't count on it, and that it is not something that we can just ever take for granted and consider to be a done deal. It's something we always have to keep striving and working towards. So in about the 15 minutes that I had from the time I found out that our guest speaker wasn't going to be here, I cobbled together a little something that I hope will at least get us to a place that we can feel like this time was well spent. And I want to start by sharing a story that I first heard from Julie Payne Britton, who used to be our minister during the pandemic and got a lot of us through some really, really uncertain and awful times. She initially shared it as something that was a story based on some Native American lore, and then she learned that she wasn't entirely sure that it really was attributed to a Cherokee tribe or not. I don't know. All I know is that the purpose of the story is nothing disparaging and everything that is encouraging. So, in this particular tribe, a wise elder spoke to his grandson and said, "You will be brave, my son, and win many victories. But first, you must win the war within you, the battle between two fierce, equally powerful wolves, self-denigration and self-determination." The curious youth asked, "But grandfather, how will I know what the two fierce wolves within me are fighting over?" The grandfather looked at him firmly and said, "Grandson, they are fighting to capture your attention, and each is equally ferocious." With part courage and part cowardice, the concerned youth replied, But if both wolves are equally powerful, which one wins the battle for my attention?" The grandfather looked at him kindly, held out his palms, and said, "It all depends on which wolf you feed." So today's sermon is basically going to ask 4 questions. A nice Jewish guy thought of 4 questions. And each of these questions is also going to be an opportunity to connect with 1 or 2 people nearby and have just a brief little chance to talk it over. It's TNT. It's not dynamite. It's talk and turn. But it's powerful. And it can be a really nice way to let your thoughts be heard and shared with another person. So, I want to preface this by saying that our thoughts are like seeds. Some plant trees, and some plant weeds. I want to further say that what we focus on, we feed. So the first question is, what are you thinking and focusing on right now? In this present moment, what are you thinking or focusing on? Please find a couple people that you can have an exchange around that with.
Maybe you want to exchange with us?
You don't have to.
Going to, couldn't get anybody's attention.
Sandra.
Yes, can I also, these phones work best when we're speaking into this hand? Not like, think no ice cream cone. Into it. Really, everything. Yeah.
Try to point that out. And the other thing is,
It's not really. Yeah, whatever. Careful, yeah.
You were thinking about what you wanted to learn. Oh, no, I was trying to focus. I was just focusing on
Do your best to make sure everyone has a turn, and we'll probably need to wrap up in about a minute. All right, let's come back. You can stay where you're. You can stay where you are.
Another minute.
What's that?
Another minute.
Not done, you're right.
We need one more minute?
2 minutes.
Okay, 2 more minutes. I'll give it to you. They want more time.
I still have the poem you wrote. So it's one thing that Judy, but you relaxed. Because your sisters are over there, and we can't sit together because they go to Lyle together.
Here's what I understand. What I
Christianity, all Christianity starts
I can see some folks are ready. Are we about ready to turn and return? Matt, are people jumping into breakout rooms in Zoom to be sharing this?
Talking among them.
Okay, I'd like to go on to the second question. And before I do, I just want to preface it by saying that it's been very helpful to me to have a little 3-word saying. If I can catch myself feeling like it's unfair or some kind of place in which I'm a victim or I'm whining, if I can just remember that I have the choice and don't complain, reframe. And quite often, if I can just remember that, whatever it is, I can find another lens to look at it through that is so much more helpful. And instead of planting weeds, I'm planting trees. Okay, so the second question is there something that could shift your focus and make it more expansive? More expansive, sort of like seeing the bigger picture. So you can stay in your same groups and think about, is there something that could shift your focus right now in a way that would make it more expansive, seeing more of the big picture?
We'd be more expansive. Well, you already did it. That's what I thought. So you stayed here. You didn't go. There you go. Angel already excused himself to the bathroom. Why don't you?
We're bringing you closer to evident.
So embarrassing. Oh my God. It's so embarrassing. Not you. You're always yourself. That's awesome. You know, my aunt used to have a magnet on her refrigerator that said, "Be yourself. Everybody else is taken."
No, did you come in? I was trying to find you.
Things are already happening.
Okay, take one more minute, and then I'd like to hear if anyone would like to share some of what they've been noticing. Okay, I want to see if there's someone who might like to kick this part off where we get to share a little bit with the whole group, something that you've been sharing with us with your smaller group. There someone who'd like to share? Great, Bill. And over here too, okay. I've been told by our ace sound person that in order for this mic to work, you have to do your best Beyonce impersonation, but it doesn't work when you hold it up like an ice cream cone. It works better if you hold it up like this.
Okay, folks, let's call this the drinking posture, all right? Mr. Host, we must report that we are unable to help you on this because we're already focused on a planet-wide situation called climate disruption. And we didn't know how to go higher than that.
Anyone who has also reached heights or depths that they would like to share with us?
Hello, everyone. So this is regarding the first question, and I always tell my son, like how when you were saying, be careful what you feed, or I always tell him where attention goes, energy flows. So whatever you give so much attention, your whole energy goes there. So it could be negative or positive. The ball's in his court. So, yeah.
I like that. Repeat after me. Where your attention goes,
Energy flows.
energy flows. Someone else like to share? Okay. So, oh, great.
Quarter.
Yes, hi. Is this right? Did I get it right? I got, what am I here to do? That's a good question to ask myself. if I'm thinking of in a way that's not so helpful. And then the other thing was, just if there's some joy and lightness, go with it.
Amen, sister. Feeling really bummed because somehow in May the weather has turned back to winter? You can be serious and solemn or silly and zany.
The rain is cleansing us. It's June.
I know, but I'm talking about May. That was such a month of mixed weather. But yes, it is June and it's busting out all over, I hope. Before I get to the third question, I want to share a story that I first heard on YouTube, but I have a hunch, like many things on YouTube, it may be either entirely real or entirely a fiction, but the point is very pertinent to everything that we've just been experiencing, and it basically concerns a man who lost his sight and who was out on the street panhandling and had a little cup and a little sign that said, "Blind, need money." And people were walking past as if they were blind. He couldn't see them, and they didn't see him. And then a woman came by, and she walked up to him and she said kindly, "Would it be okay if I wrote something on your sign?" And he said, "Sure, help yourself, lady." So she wrote something, and then suddenly people started stopping and really noticing and seeing that this man needed their help and coming up and offering words of encouragement and coins and bills. And he turned to the woman who was still standing next to him and he said, "What did you do, lady?" She said, "Well, I just changed the words." He said, "To what?" He said, "Well, instead of blind need money, I wrote, it's a beautiful day, but I can't see it. Please help me." Don't complain. Reframe. Sometimes all it takes is looking at it through a different lens, finding different language, and something that really sucks can shift in a way that gives us hope. It's a way to move from a whole culture of hurt, which becomes hate, which breeds fear, to a way in which we offer help and bring hope and build faith. So with all those optimistic thoughts in mind, I'd like to ask you, actually I have to also say one last thing. So I during the week work for a program called Mentoring to Manhood. It helps teen boys navigate that tricky terrain between adolescence and adulthood. And one of the things we've noticed with the teens is the inner voice that they mostly hear is their inner critic. And we've been trying to help them also find their inner coach. I'm going to take a wild guess that an awful lot of those of us who are here have plenty of experience with our inner critic. My question is, what helps you stop feeding your inner critic and start heeding your inner coach? So we'll take a couple minutes to think that through together, and if anyone would like to share aloud afterwards, that'd be great.
Yeah. I've been trying, knowing, different
Okay, good.
crowds,
Okay.
usually just takes one perspective,
that's-
adding your question.
Okay, so if you could say, if you haven't already, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah.
But just give me like the little heads up if you get something.
I will.
I'd love to make it an opportunity. Clay calls me a bad nickname. No.
Paralysis through analysis also. You know what I mean? When there's too many options.
Yeah, well, I've definitely been through paralysis from analysis. It comes with the territory of being the son of a psychiatrist. Okay, take another minute to try to make sure all voices have had a chance to speak. And then again, I'd love to hear anything anyone would like to share with the group.
Not taking what is being said and watch what is happening in the situation.
Okay, if you have anything that you'd like to share aloud, just let me know. Love to hear from you.
I'm Kate. So I was remembering that when I moved to Newton from Ithaca back in the 80s, how, and I won't say destitute, but I was single mom, 2 kids, hardly had a job, living in Newton, which was very fancy. I really felt like I was way, way, way down at the bottom of the barrel. And so over time, I started feeling better and more valued, etc. And I was trying to think while you were talking, what was that leap? What got me there? And it was, I believe, involvement, being appreciated at my UU church in Newton, and taking more roles and volunteering and being appreciated, being a lay minister, et cetera, getting into community involvement.
Thank you, Kate. You're certainly valued here. Anyone else like to share something great?
Hi, everyone. I'm Tina. This is my second time here. I was talking to Claudia about the shift from self-critic to self-coach, and I think the thing that helped me the most on a day-to-day basis, it's still there, the wolf is there always, but I keep pictures of myself as a little kid around my house, in certain places that I'll see it a lot, and I just see the magic and like the authenticity and in that little kid photo, and I'm like, how could I be critical of this person. I love this person. And then I said to Claudia, you know, the thought, my thought, how you have yours, Rob, of stopping me, the only person I need to impress is my 3-year-old self and my 83-year-old self. And that's kind of my compass to move into that self-coach.
My 3-year-old self would have loved to have known your 3-year-old self. Anyone else have something they'd like to share?
So, I live with my younger son, and he's been told he can never work, and he is my teammate. And what reframes for me is building a team, and it's working. He works like a dog at my house. I couldn't do the work I do if it weren't for him. And he does all the snow shoveling, the carrying of heavy things, wheelbarrows full of dirt to build gardens. He does our cooking every day. He is never late. He's always on time. So I think what we need to reframe is the dadgum medical system, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I think that's what HS has become known as, the dadgum medical system.
Hi, my name is Jean. I think for me, when I think it is important for everyone to know your worth, to love yourself, and not to surround yourself with people who are negative and who try to put you down. Always, there's times are bad now, but you have to try to always look on the bright side of life and just be thankful for what we have and help other people. I have a very dear friend who is very, very, very ill she has cancer. And I just listen to her and, because she has so much on her plate right now. And it is good to just not think about yourself, but try to put yourself in the shoes of other people. And that helps me. And it lifts my soul that I feel that I am helping someone else and not worrying about my woes. Thank you.
Amen, sister. Anyone else have something they'd like to share? All right. Great, I'm getting my exercise.
Rob, what's feed me? Feed the weeds or what's the other? Up testing. Good. Yeah. Okay. Feed the weeds or feed the what? What's the other thing?
Our plots are seeds.
Seeds.
They either feed weeds or trees.
Ah, okay. I hear that. Even though I didn't hear it, this has helped me today. It's really, I love this expression, and it's easy to remember. So appreciate it. Thank you.
So glad you're here.
I'm not usually this talkative. I would say a good approach might be to do one's best to know thyself. What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? There are a few geniuses around who can do everything. And work and dwell within your comfort zone. Things will be easy and go well, and as opposed to the other end of the spectrum. There are actual tests, human resources type tests, where you can figure this out. And not only do they give you the answers I'm talking about, but they can actually point to a profession which would suit you.
And all of that is true, and as so often is true in life, there are simultaneous truths. The UU bumper sticker I keep threatening to create says that there are some questions that can't be answered, but there are no answers which can't be questioned. Before I give you the last question, I want to share one quick thing one of the boys did, made me so happy. So there's a 13-year-old boy who struggles with his self-esteem and who has listened through most of his life to his inner critic, which in the spirit of the Oracle of Delphi, know thyself, nothing to excess, realized that his inner voice is like a recording of his father judging him and putting him down. So I don't think it'll be breaking any confidentiality because there's tons of boys whose names are Joe. But Joe had a little breakthrough. We were shooting hoops, and it was interesting. A lot of the boys picked up on the fact that there's language in basketball that's really connected to a lot of what we're trying to say about navigating that terrain from adolescence to adulthood. You know, you want to make the winning basket, but you need somebody to rebound. You want to get open, you need someone to make an assist. But he said to me, you know, at the end of that game, when I blew that wide open layup, my inner critic started to read me the riot act and said, "You are lousy at layups." And I realized, this is Joe speaking, that wait a minute, I have a choice. I don't have to feed that voice. He says, instead of complain, I'm going to reframe. He says, instead of listening to the inner critic saying I'm lousy at layups, I'm going to listen to my inner coach who says, you're learning to make layups. Very little of life is a layup. If we were really doing the service today that was planned, the sermon would be, where is justice? I don't think any part of justice is a layup. But I think thinking of it from the lens that we're learning to do things, that's a way to help foster a more just and humane world. Which leads me, rather nicely, if I say so myself, into my last question. No, sorry. It's an inside joke for the fellow Junitarians. Where do you see All Souls serving as a hub for positive change, and how can you help it happen? This is also a seed. It's a seed because afterwards we're going to invite many of you to stay and join and be part of our annual meeting. And at our annual meeting, we want to think big. We want to envision how we as a church, as a community, can really be a kind of magnet for positive, progressive causes. So please, again, in your small groups, if you want to even make a bigger group, you can get together with some other people. I'll repeat the question. Where do you see All Souls serving as a hub for positive change, and how can you help it happen?
One that distributes pennies. All Souls is a place where I can offer, when you chance it, see my people, and I have to let people know that I want to do this, and I have this idea that they should help place. So, I guess I'm saying, your coach is so social activist, just creates it. I need to ask people to be, because I don't really have the time to do this. I have too much on my plate.
Okay, I'll give you another minute to solve the world, and then we'll share our thoughts with each other.
So you would want to talk about this? Yeah. But like here, if you were here.
All right, only because of time, I'm going to do one last improvisation for this morning, and I'm going to try to combine two elements. The first is anyone, as we have been doing, who might like to share some of their thoughts on how All Souls can become a hub for positive change and how you can help make it happen. But I'd like to combine that with joys and sorrows. So if you share, you could share as a joy, ways in which you could see All Souls becoming a hub for positive progressive change. And if there's a sorrow or a concern that you'd like the support of the congregation, that is also an option. So we're basically going to blend what we've been doing with the last part of our service. Oh, thank you, Kate. That's going to do a lot for your inner coach, that contribution right there. You're going to feel great about yourself after this service. Okay, so over here, great.
We should talk about God more, and we should talk about God more and pray a lot more, and yeah. So yeah.
Thank you.
Can you see what the question was again?
Yes, how can we help All Souls Church be a hub for positive change?
I would say, oh God, I don't know if it's like, if the word is advertised, but like put it more out there. I mean, the name All Souls is amazing, but maybe put it more out there for like the LGBTQ, like so people can feel comfortable coming in and not being judged, because that's what made me want to, give it a try, because I saw the flag out there, and usually, like, I always thought like churches, they didn't want like, gay people and stuff like that, so that's, yeah.
I have a joy to say. It's when I went to Thailand with my family and we rode elephants and ate bugs and we went on dune buggies and ATVs and that we went there for the water festival that they do every year. And you have water guns and you go to, what's the road name? It's a certain road and it's very popular and you can shoot anybody you want with water and it's really fun.
They put white clay in your face.
Water guns, elephants, eating bugs, what's not to like?
I would encourage us to think about the shoulders that we stand on and that it is our next generation of engagement with progressive values that we're looking at. And I love the places that we've come from, that we've nurtured, that we currently host. Stone Soup has so many layers. And just thinking about the future and all the young people who are doing amazing things in the hills, in this community, in the community centers in this community, and trying to figure out how we can tell them how much we love them and want them here so that we can nurture them here and respect them and give them the things that we have to give and we know will nurture the future.
Hi. I, as I've said before, but I would like to see us become a hub for organizing of affinity groups for people to support each other about taking action politically, and I would like to ask for a buddy to help to be a catalyst for this because I can't do it myself.
Well, I'm seriously into team building. I don't think that I, for instance, can do that much without team building. And I've had a hard time finding it in a lot of ways, in part because I reframe everything into a global issue, but that's our future. And it's sometimes hard to hear, or even credit that the future is going to be with us, not that long away. And the other thing is if we're doing that, we need to build the future of young adults, young people, into the congregation so that we first play with water guns and elephants and then we start living a life as a tree, which happens to be sequestering the maximum carbon to keep us all alive. So that's where I'm coming from, and I wonder, you have one, Robin?
One?
You have something you would want to say?
No.
No, not right now? Okay.
I'll make a deal with you, Pam. Yes. You bring the elephants, I'll bring the water guns. Go ahead, Claire. Thank you.
Well, I think about this a lot, about how we work together and how we grow and how we address what's happening around us and what this means. And I think a lot of the meanings of these things. And well, I'm learning about the early Christian church and how that formed, and there was this opposition, there's this tension between the Gnostic elements of early Christianity and the Orthodox church that formed and made those elements heterodox. And to me, this is about a tension that occurs between like there's individuals and how they grow and learn and very personal understandings of the world that are very meaningful and very powerful. And then there's that these can collide with collective understandings. And I am so curious about how that tension resolves. And to me, that is what UU is all about, because it is about every individual's journey for meaning and purpose, and their responsibility in conducting this journey. And that this happens in all of us. We are each doing this. And as this happens in each of us, this is happening in all of us. The collective journey is the individual journey, and vice versa. And so my answer to this question is I agree with everything everyone has said. Affinity groups and mixing generations, and yeah.
Thank you, Claire. Anyone else? It could also just be simple joy and sorrow. We're combining both of them. So if you have a joy or a sorrow, let us know.
Hi, I'm Maria, and my joy is that I'm here and you are all here, and that there are people thinking about how we're going to grow as a community. I have always loved children of all ages, including adults who feel like they're children. And so I've been working with Kate Judd, trying to put together a religious education program. Hopefully that will take flight in September. I'm also really interested in working with people who want to know more about the history of LGBTQ and talk about those issues and how we can support that community and let them know that they're welcome here and we need them here. We all need each other right now. Things are going backwards and we have to keep fighting to make them go forward. And that's kind of what's in my heart right now. And music, music, music.
Rob, sorry about that. I'd like to share with you a statement from Alan Blanchett. She'd like to share that to create positive change, we should build our youth education program, build the future of our church with our youth.
My name's Russ. Don't take this the wrong way. My joy is that I'm not going to be here next week. There's a men's gathering that I was introduced to by men from this congregation over 25 years ago that happens a couple of times a year. We didn't meet during COVID, and I couldn't go last time because there was something important happening here. But it is happening next weekend. It's a couple of hours from here. And as much as I will miss being here, I'm going to be spending the weekend with some men that I've known some regard for over 25 years. And this means something to me. And I'm glad to be able to, say it today. Thanks. But I will miss you.
Our loss will be Comega's gain. Anyone else have a... Switch, please.
I'd like to light 2 candles of celebration. One's for Molly Chambers, who was in the hospital recently and still working hard to get back to baseline. And also Ellen Blanchett, thank you, both of you, for your involvement, your volunteerism, your social justice work over the years. And I'm glad you're with us on Zoom.
Anyone else? Kate, would you light a candle of concern for my beloved friend John Porcino, who has COVID? And a candle of joy for my new housemate, Clay, who is finding all kinds of opportunities to really reframe and renew in very positive ways. One more on Zoom.
Yes, Ellen would like to speak to us through Zoom here. So Ellen, why don't you go ahead and unmute your microphone, and hopefully we will be able to hear you.
Yeah, I was trying to do it on my phone. Can you hear me on that?
Yep, we can.
So this is kind of both a sorrow and a joy. I had a stroke the end of April, and it has substantially diminished my ability to function. And it's a challenge, but I'm getting better. I'm getting a lot of care. And thankfully, my son has come up from Colorado and is here helping me. And we're working on getting more care for me. And I want to say how much I appreciate the church and all the people who have been so kind to me. So that's my share. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate, Our Lady of Light. So we're going to do one last improvisation / adaptation. We'll save the postlude and make the hymn that we were going to do, the Holly Near song, we are going to do, because it's a great song and it fits right in with what would have been the theme. And we'll do that as a postlude. So I'll simply offer this short benediction. My inner critic sees me in my shadows and tells me that it's the pits. And my inner coach points out that pits are also seeds. My inner critic says we're going to bury you. My inner coach says good. Seeds do just fine when they're buried under the soil. Kit, do you want to say something? Good.
Yes.
You don't want a mic?
If I may.
Hold on, I'll bring the mic.
We can hear her, but Zoom can't. No. It occurred to me that along with the other changes this morning, that possibly hymn number 346 is an even more appropriate piece for us to close out with. So with your permission, Rob, let us turn to hymn number 346 and enjoy each other's musical contribution.
Sing a song with me.
And it rose in the summertime, too. I would like everybody to join us for some refreshments afterwards. I don't know, do we need to make any announcements now? Could we do that to kick off the annual meeting? What do we think?
Say what the time frame is. Give us a framework. When does the meeting start and who should stay?
Okay, so the annual meeting will begin at around 12:15, which gives us roughly 25 minutes to just enjoy each other's company and some snacks. If there's any announcement that you think people might be leaving, and for the annual meeting, obviously we want folks who are members of All Souls, but also if people are just interested in learning more, they can certainly experience some of what we share. We'd love to have your company.
We want all of you to stay.
Okay, Russ, lock the door. All right, class dismissed. Hold on, Maria has an announcement.